Shalom. It is good that we have met today too. This is the channel, Biblical Research and Innovation Network for Africa, Brain for Africa or BRAINFA. In this video, my aim is to talk about features of a good researcher. People ask me, how can we be a good researcher? And I want to talk about some of the things that I believe a good researcher must possess or must work towards possessing in order to work well within the space of academic research. First of all, a good researcher is expected to be curious. So curiosity is important when it comes to research. A good researcher possesses the natural inclination to be curious. So something is happening, you are interested, you want to know what is going on, and you want to know why something has happened. That is about curiosity. It drives the person to explore and to inquire about various phenomena and to strive to understand them, and through that, research is already ongoing. Another characteristic feature of a good researcher is critical thinking. Critical thinking. In fact, research involves analysis of data and thinking through, analyzing and thinking through critically, creatively, and innovatively to be able to arrive at the solution to the problem that one intends to address. So critical thinking is important, and so if somebody wants to be a good researcher, the person is expected to develop and demonstrate strong critical thinking skills that allow the person to evaluate information and identify biases. It is through critical thinking that we can identify biases and move away from biases, and also try to question assumptions with critical thinking. Because without critical thinking, whatever the person hears or sees or reads somewhere is okay, and so such a person may not be a good researcher. So if you want to be a good researcher, I urge you to develop your thinking skills. Don't just take things just as they are. Question what is going on and draw logical conclusions based on evidence and reasoning. Again, it requires creativity. To be a good researcher, one has to be creative. I tell my students, when it comes to literature review, you are looking at people's work and trying to summarize, compare, and do some analysis. But that is not a deeper analysis. But when it comes to the presentation and analysis, discussion of data, interpretation, then it is important to be creative. What subheadings am I going to create? What themes? I've said that I'm going to discuss my data in themes. But the question is, what are the themes that I'm going to create? You need to be creative to be able to do that. Nobody will do that for you. And so creativity is very important when it comes to problem solving, and for that matter, when it comes to academic research. And so I urge you to begin to develop creativity. God created us and gave us the mental faculty to be as creative as He is. You see, we can't be perfect as God, but we can be creative. So be as creative as you can. Then, attention to detail. Paying attention to detail is also important when it comes to the issue of academic research. Every detail is important. And so if it is a conversation that one is engaged in, every word, every comma is important. Other than that, some details that are expected to give the clue for interpretation and formulation may be lost. And at the end of the day, a person may not be able to do a good research. One has to be a good analyst. And so analytical skills is very important when it comes to the issue of academic research. A good researcher possesses strong analytical skills to correctly interpret complex data, identify patterns, trends, and relationships, and draw meaningful insights from this analysis. Then, ethical integrity is another one. Ethical integrity. One has to be faithful to ethics, there is the need to follow academic ethics and avoid unfaithfulness to academic ethical standards. Then communication skills. You have done a good research. You have good findings. But how do you communicate the findings? So one has to be a good communicator. A good communicator. If you are not a good communicator when it comes to oral communication, at least when it comes to the use of the pen, the use of the keyboard, you have to be a good communicator. So if you are a good communicator already, then it means you have that skill, and it means that you already have something to begin academic research with. Then I want to also talk about technological proficiency. In our modern world, where technology is the order of the day, it is important for one to be technologically inclined, to be able to search for materials, to be able to analyze, to be able to write. And so if your technological expertise is low, then I do expect you or encourage you to work towards improving it. There are other characteristics of a good researcher, but I'm not giving you all in this video. The book that I've shown on the screen is where I took my information from. It is my own book, and so I urge you to download and have a copy. God richly bless you. Bye for now till we meet again.